Maybe just in your own words, kind of describe how the process worked selling your house to Katie Properties.
Well, it was very quick. Actually, a little faster than I even anticipated it was going to be, which was a good thing for me because time was a factor. So everything moved along very quickly, and the timeline was short, but long enough that you still have things that you can get done. Um, so I really appreciated the timeline involved in how quickly things moved forward, how quickly we were able to get papers signed, how quickly we were able to get everything to the lawyer and everything finished without any interruption or upheaval, and everything was done the way it was supposed to be done. Also appreciated the kindness that you have with me in and the respect that you had with letting me know when people were coming to look at the property. You always gave me a big heads up. You always gave me a lot of lead time. Sometimes I forgot that you were coming, but that was on me, not on you. I always felt respected. I never felt like I was being used or that I was being swindled in any way. Um, Everything was above board. Um, we have lawyers, just like you would in a regular exchange, of homes without the realtor fees, which was another bonus.
Okay.
Have to worry about having the house spotless for people to come through and see it all the time. So that for me was a stressor that wasn't added onto the pile of moving.
What made you sell to Katie Properties instead of listing your house with a realtor?
Well, I didn't have realtor fees to worry about. I did not need to worry about keeping my house clean and having people walk through and having appointments and not being in the house when people came, or worrying about what to do with my cat when people came. So that was a nice thing. The timeline in getting an offer and getting everything in place was also something that was important to me. I didn't want to have my house on the market for 3 or 4 months or however long it takes.
So, how did you feel about the price that was offered to you for your home?
At first, I was a little bit taken back, going, wow, that's not what my house is worth. But then when I looked at all the work that needed to be done for me to get the price that I thought it was, number one, I couldn't afford to put the money into those renovations myself or those fixes myself, and I knew that. Um, and when you sit and realistically look at your home and see what needs to be done to get it ready, new flooring, new paint, I didn't have the skills and I didn't have the money to pay somebody else to do it. So when I considered all that into the equation, I found that it was fair. It was more than I needed, less than I had originally thought, but like more than what I needed to do what I needed to do.
When we started this process and came in here and looked at your house and gave you an offer, how confident were you that we were actually going to close and complete the process to buy your house?
Once I said yes, like when you gave me time to think about it, and I said I had no doubt that it would go through. I had no doubt that you would follow through with what you had offered and what you had said.
So we did a little bit of a creative deal on this house here. So why don't you maybe talk a little bit about that and what we arranged with the possession dates?
Because I wanted to be here for some special occasions that were happening in my life, we juggled the possession dates. Even though you had purchased the house and legally owned the house at a certain date, you had a lot of leniency for me to stay in longer, to arrange trucks to be here for the occasion that I wanted to be here for. And you were very flexible on what date you were letting me stay till, and we came up with a date that was actually more than I even needed, because now I'm going to be gone a couple days before that date even. But I really appreciated the flexibility that was given to me in that, and it took some of the stress off of being out of the house like right away. It was just so much less stressful for me, and I greatly appreciated it. Oh, and you made sure that the close date was time enough for you to get the money in my bank for me to pay my other home that I was buying. I hadn't even thought of that, but you said, no, hey, let's make the date this date so that everything has time to go through and get the money over there on time. I never even thought of that.
Knowing that there is potential other avenues for you to go to potentially get a higher price for your house than what we paid you, perhaps fixing it up and selling it through a realtor or whatnot, based on all the other ways we provided you value with that you just spoke of, how do you feel about your decision to sell to Katie Properties?
I don't regret that decision at all. I think it was a good decision for me, just because of the timeline I was under, the limits in my funds that I had to do the renovations myself. I would have had to take a loan or a mortgage out to get those renovations done. And when I started looking initially before contacting you on how long it would take to get a contractor to come and look at the home and actually do the renovations or the fixing that needed to be done, it was months down the road. And I just didn't want to have it be months down the road. So coming to you was like a no-brainer for me.